let's look at numbers for the certificates. I want everyone to realize these certificates, a little bit more complex maybe than some of the crypto products out there, are actually extremely lucrative. They're very, very powerful in the passive income that they offer. It's just that a lot of people can't wrap their minds around all the numbers sometimes. So I want to give you two examples today. I've done this before. I want to do it slightly differently. I did it on the board. I kind of want to exclude a lot of the promotions, bonuses. We have some company targets right now. Fantastic. Let's go for it. We will make it. But I want to keep a lot of these extra legacy points and ratios and things like that a little bit out of it. I want to keep the just the product for what it is and to make it stand on its own 2 feet. Because, well, I don't have to make it stand on its own 2 feet. The certificates stand on their own 2 feet because they are badass. They are a fantastic product in a company that has longevity. This is so important, right? I mean, every company out there can offer 3%, 5%, 10% a day. These crazy numbers that are unsustainable. Why? Because they're unsustainable and they're not going to be here 3 months from now. So whatever you inject in there, well, good luck pulling it out, and come in early, maybe you win, others lose, right? It's kind of a trend that's happening in the crypto space. It's a bloodbath out there, and people are tired of it, moving from one project to another. This will become the home of a lot of people, and it's through the products like these ones. So let's look at the meta mining. When you buy a meta certificate or a metaverse certificate, when you acquire one, of course, the value of it is going to give you positioning in Lydian world, right? Like we talked about. And then you're going to go one of two ways because or both ways. You've got codes, 2 codes. You can load the certificate in Lydian world for mining. You can load it for the meta broker, or you can load it for both. That's up to you. Let's go into mining for a moment. I'm going to focus on the Proxima Santori. It's the smallest certificate at 49 USDT. I like this one personally, love it, because it's nice to diversify into many countries. It's got a really high APY, even though we only get 3/4 of that. We get 3/4 of that, right? So 90% APY, because the rest is distributed in the world. But it's within reach of a lot of people, a lot of different countries, so on and so forth. So this is a fantastic one for me. I'm not giving you advice on what to do with this, or that's up to you. But let's look at the numbers to give you potential. So first of all, you pay 49 for it. That's going to give you the equivalent of 49 USDT in value for a citizenship NFT. That's a lifetime income. That's a position in Lydian world in one or more countries that you can get into for $49 or less, or more if you decide to inject more lions to pay for it. But let's just look at straight numbers right now. You go in, that becomes an NFT. You can sell that at any point in time. You've got a lifetime of income. This is important because that 49 isn't lost. That's your value right there. A lifetime of income for 49 bucks. What's that going to look like a year from now, 2 years from now? As the citizenship keeps paying and 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 paying. But on top of that, now it opens the ability to start mining. To mine, you have a load max, right? 500 is the max. But right now, loading with G999, if you grab your G999 from GS Partners Global, go in the financial tab, click exchange, and there just choose G999 and acquire G999. It'll cost you about 170 bucks of G999, 170 USDT to fill up 500. Why? Because the company is giving us a better ratio. That is fantastic. So basically, to get $500 of mining power, it costs 170 bucks. Right? This is important. This is part of the numbers you got to calculate to understand the potential that there is here and the profits that are being made. So now you've loaded for a max load value of 500. Right? So these are costs, but obviously there's value in here, right? Lifetime income, and here's your value for this one. So this is in green. Whatever's in red is a cost. Whatever's in green is yours, right? So the mining rewards off of this, it's easy. Calculate 90%, because like I said, it's 3/4 of the APY. 90% of 500, and this certificate mines for 18 months, for a year and a half. A year and a half, 90%, so it's 90% plus 45%, of course, right? Because half a year at 90%, 45%. That's the number you calculate, and you simply, this will give you the total that will come back to you at the end of the 18-month period. Because you're mining for 18 months. At the end of it, you get that back plus all the profits. That's your total that you're getting back. So this is fantastic. We're going to run some numbers with that. So your total cost to do this was 49 bucks plus 170, 219. That's the total that a person puts in to maximize this particular certificate for mining. With that, at the end of it all, they're going to have, this is an asset. This NFT here is an asset. You can sell that at any point in time in the future. You can earn from it for the rest of your life. You can pass it on to your kids. This is a $49 asset that will, in my opinion, be worth a lot more than that over time, right? So you have that as an asset plus everything that came back to you. Because this load here, the G999 that you put in, it comes back to you in the form of Lydian stater. This load here is Lydian stater. The mining you do with the stater is more stater. So this amount here is if the stater stayed the same price from the moment you loaded it all the way to the end of the 18 months, this is the total USD amount of staters you would receive. If stater doubles in that time or triples in that time, then it's even more, right? You're gonna multiply these numbers. The bottom line is, at the end of this, if stater stayed the same price, what you have in total assets is a citizenship plus $1,175 equivalent of Lydian stater. That's $1,224 of assets from 219. This is if all the prices stay the same. Obviously, you have to factor in that the stater can go up and down. And basically, if you take this amount, right, if we were to do some math, it's really easy. So just to show you, because sometimes people are talking about percentages, right, that different projects offer and so on and so forth. Let's bring a calculator. Right, I'm going to grab 1224 divided by 219 equals 5.58. 5.58 is 558%. 558%, right? So let's do 558 divided by 18 months. That'll give you your monthly average. This is a 31% a month product. What does that equate to? More than 1% a day. I'm not factoring any ones that are getting matched, free things, bonuses on top, nothing else. I'm talking about the straight product here, everyone. This is why I want to just focus on this as opposed to all the promos. The promos are good, but I find the product has merit on its own. It stands on its own 2 feet, like I said. This is a product that if there was nothing else offered and just the way it is badass. Where in the world do you get 31% average per month return on a year and a half that you put in on something that's going to pay you every 45 days, some of the payout, daily, some of the payout from the citizenship, and then the big amount that comes back at the end? Where do you find that anywhere in the world with a project that has longevity? Again, someone will say, well, I have a project that's making me 5% a day. Really? But how long is it going to last? Right? How many people are you comfortable inviting to that, sharing that with them? Because it's highly likely next month it won't be there anymore. Suddenly, oh, we have withdrawal problems, right? Suddenly the platform isn't there anymore. This is the stuff that happens that ain't going to happen here. This isn't going to happen here. This is built for the long run. So when you have something lasting like this, offering more than 1% a day average, if you want to calculate it over 22 months, you can do that too, right? If you want to take the 120 days into consideration, the loading period, and create an average over 22 months instead of 18, you can do that as well. It's about 25% a month. It's still very close to 1%. It's solid, 25% a month. So however you calculate your average, that's up to you. Play around with the numbers a little bit. Bottom line is, this is solid returns, or potential return, obviously, depending on value of stater, for what we're doing here. That's the mining alone. Now let's move forward because time. The meta broker. This is traditional investors gonna love this. A lot of them are scared of crypto, especially. I mean, everything's tanking right now. The crypto space is rough, and a lot of crypto MLMs are scams. Right? We're the scam killer. We're offering something here where people can diversify, can go into safer markets. They can see there's a track record with a company that's solid for 12 years, fully regulated. Right? This is something different. This is something that you want to diversify with and get a nice average. Have some mining, have some citizenships, have your business, real-time commissions. Now have your brokerage portfolio with a fully regulated, solid company as our exclusive partner. And when you take all of that factored in together, now you've got something pretty badass, right? Metaverse income coming in from your positioning, a little bit more risky, crazy crypto mining, a nice referral program, business, career model that you're building from home. And now you've got a brokerage account with a regulated broker who built you up a portfolio and is helping increase your passive income. Put all that together, you've got yourself something really nice, really, really elaborate, diversified. So for this one, I'm going to show the Mars certificate because it's a kind of mid-range certificate. There's much bigger, right? The Moon, for example, and we could go back to the Proxima Centauri. All of us actually have the same numbers. So it doesn't really matter when it comes to the broker. The mining has different APY, different loading periods, different harvesting periods, things like that. So there's going to be a lot of differences for the mining. I actually prefer the smaller ones in the mining, but that's up to each person. For here, doesn't matter. They're all, it's all going to come down to your budget and financial goals and what you're capable of playing with. So here, same principle. You acquire the certificate. This one is 2,500 USDT. Same thing. It gives you, right, that same certificate, because it doesn't matter where you're going to take it, mining or broker. It gives you that 2,500 in value for a lifetime income to go in Lydian world, capture some citizenships, or 1 or 2 or 5 or whatever you choose to do, and start earning from those regions in the world. That's fantastic. Full value right here for life. Now, this amount here in the broker function, the company is offering to triple it for you, and so give it back to you and 2 times more after the 18 months, because all the broker certificates is for 18 months, no less, no more. Whatever funds you put in, they're locked in there for a year and a half, and during that year and a half, they work your portfolio, and that portfolio will generate you passive income. That passive you can withdraw anytime or re-inject into it and compound returns, right? So the company is offering that if that portfolio possibility, in this case, well, in the Mars certificate, that's your max load. Well, for all certificates, it's called max load, but in this one, it's 75,000 USDT. If you maintain a portfolio with BD Swiss through the certificate that you acquire, that is 1/3 or more of the max load, the company will give you back the 2,500 in this case that you put in initially and 2 more times on top. So 300% return, right? So they give that back to you. If you just maintain 1/3 or more of your portfolio throughout the year and a half, and that's paid weekly. It's basically 4.5% weekly. So take that amount, 4.15% weekly. And if you do that over the 18 months, it's going to add up to this amount here. This is paid weekly every week that you have a minimum of 1/3 of the max load in your portfolio. If sometimes it goes a bit under because of trading and so on and so forth, and your portfolio is not performing well that week and it goes down below the limit, well, during that week, you won't get the 4.15%. But if you bring it back up, you put some funds back in, bring it back to above 1/3, the week after, you get the 4.15%. You get it? So in other words, load this at least 1/3 or more, of course, as high as you can. And at the end of the 18 months, well, you get that 2,500 back plus another 5K. So you got 7,500. But it's not even just at the end of the 18 months, it's weekly. But over 18 months, that's what you'll have gotten back. So now your citizenship is free. Now you've got a lifetime income in Lydian World, literally for free. This came back to you threefold, so that's better than free, of course. And now let's look at the portfolio. So to load a third of 75,000, normally it would be 25,000, right? 25K is one third of 75K. This, what I'm showing you now, is applicable to all the certificates, so it doesn't matter. But 25K is what it would be. But right now the company has a match. The company gives 100% match, and this match is a forever match. So whoever's buying, acquiring these certificates, exchanging crypto for these certificates before July 1st, though everyone, even though you don't load it right away, because you bought it during this time period, anytime after that you load, anything you put into the load, the company will match it 100%. So you put in $1,000, they'll put in $1,000. You put in 10K, they'll put in 10K. So that's crazy. So let's say you wanted to do the bare minimum. We don't have that mentality. We always go higher, bigger. Obviously, you always push your boundaries. But let's say you're just set on doing at least the minimum. Well, that would be 12,500 because the company will match it, right? That'll be your 25K. So you put in 12,500 bucks in this certificate. They put in 12,500 bucks. Together now, you've got your 25K. You've got a third of your portfolio max load now trading for you, 25K that's trading. And because you're doing that, the company says, well, we'll give you this back plus another 5K. So we'll give you 7,500 paid weekly over an 18-month period at 4.15% of that amount here paid every single week. That you can withdraw or you can inject back into the portfolio, do whatever you want with it, right? It's a total flexibility there. So that 25K, this is beautiful because now you've got $25,000 that cost you 12,500, right? That's coming back, so that doesn't matter. It cost you 12,500 with a broker that's built you up a portfolio for safe financial products to generate you passive income. The rewards on estimate, this is with a medium risk, right? So it could be more, could be a little bit less somewhere. If you look in the slides of the presentation we went through, it should give you about 50% over that year and a half. 50% of that whole period that your portfolio exists. You inject funds and now it starts to perform. And so therefore, if you've put 25K in, well, you put 12 and a half, the company put 12 and a half, you now have 25K. Your rewards should be about another 12.5K, obviously on a daily basis, weekly, monthly, for the entire period added up together. Obviously, this is not factoring in compounding. If your profits come in and you inject them back into it and you compound, then it's much crazier, right? The numbers change a lot. So you got to factor in, are you withdrawing everything as it comes in? Or are you injecting it back in for compounding? Because if you're compounding, it's obviously higher returns than if you don't compound, right? So what did this cost you in the case of a Mars certificate? Well, 2,500 bucks and 1,200, 12,500 for the for half of the 1/3 load. So you put in 15K. You put in 15K, but what are you getting in assets? Well, the 2,500 came back as 7,500. The 12,500 that you put in, you got another 12,500 from the company. That's yours, right? That is stable tokens. That is crypto. That is yours. At the end of it all, you get back. All of it together generated you approximately another 12.5. And if you add all that together, now you've got a citizenship for life. You got 7,500 bucks that you've been paid weekly throughout. You've got your 12,500 back that you initially put in. You got 12.5 that the company gave you, and you got 12.5 that you made in actual profits on top. But this is profit too because the company gave it to you. So at the end of it all, initially you had spent $15,000 and you end up with $47,500. If you do the math for that, if you run the numbers, I could do the same thing, right? It's what we did before with the mining, same principle, but I like to show numbers live on the screen. So if we take 47,500, right, here, and we divide that by 15K, we end up with 3.16, right, 316%. So 316, we're going to divide that by 18 months, and we end up with 17.5. 17.5% monthly average, everyone, is more than 0.5% a day. In a safe, regulated space with a broker that has been going for 12 years with a track record offering good averages and estimates. So for the traditional investor, for the people that are a bit more scared of crypto, this is a no-brainer. This is absolutely fantastic because you have to factor everything in. The reason I create this average here at the end is to show you what this represents on a monthly basis. Some of it comes back at the end, sure. Will it come back at the end? Of course it will. The company will still be there. BD Swiss will still be there. Lydian World will still be there. We will all still be there, and you will be able to withdraw every penny of it. This is a different animal that we have here, everyone, and I think this is our most important message. We're offering something safe, reliable, with a track record, with regulation, with transparency, and that is honest. And that a year from now we'll still be here. And every single person that is positioning today is going to be very happy with the decision they made. Personally, I've been focusing a lot on this right here. Many of you have seen me do my posts on Facebook. I've been putting many of these small certificates in multiple countries. Now I'm focusing on starting to load this thing. I'm going to get a couple of them because I want to secure them with that 100% match, for the forever match, put them aside, load one, build up that portfolio, get it working for me. Perfect. Activate another one, load it, get the 100% match, activate, so on and so forth, and start to run. So you can have, I suppose, multiple portfolios or bigger portfolio. I don't know how that's going to work with BD Swiss. Not worried. Sure, they'll figure it out and give us the opportunity to take advantage fully of the certificates that we're accumulating throughout. So that's it for the numbers.